Now, most of you already know that in recent weeks, or at least since the beginning of this year, I've been cutting, or you've been seeing me making videos of me selling quite a number of stocks in my portfolio. And I was telling, or I've been telling you that the reason why I'm doing this is because I believe that inflation in the US, I personally believe that we are not yet out of course, the spider web, right? I mean, in the latest January inflation figures, we saw obviously inflation coming out to be worse than what analysts expected, which is something that obviously just has to show you that US high inflation is still in our midst, and there is nothing that obviously we can expect, or there is nothing good we can expect from then, rather than obviously the Federal Reserve continuing to aggressively increase interest rates. And that, ladies and gents, you already know the story. What does that to stocks? That is a bearish signal, or that sets a bearish signal for stocks, which is why personally I believe that obviously stocks are still going to fall or drop towards their 52-week lows. In fact, that is what most analysts now are saying. They believe that in fact, due to the aggressive interest rate hikes that the Federal Reserve is still expected to do, ladies and gents, we are going to continue seeing, or we might see, chances are we might see the S&P 500 falling by over 20% within the coming few months. So this has been the reason why I've been selling some of my stocks, especially after earnings. I mean, obviously I'm not just selling stocks that are on the red in my portfolio, but I'm selling stocks that obviously after they report either their Q4 earnings or even their Q1 earnings, they of course see a huge surge in terms of the share price. I mean, yesterday I sold a company by the name of Fiverr, which at market open I was up over 20%, which then resulted in me selling that stock because I had generated over 20% of what I had put on that particular stock. I mean, I've done videos in the previous weeks, or I think for the past 3 weeks I've been doing videos each and every week showing you how much I made on certain stocks after they report their Q4 earnings. And that has been good, and it has been good, and it has been the one that is leading me into selling most of my stocks that are in my US portfolio after their earnings, because most good quality stocks after earnings, we are seeing them surging by over 10%, over 20%, or even almost 30% in some of the stocks after earnings, which that, ladies and gents, it is resulting in not, I believe, only me selling those stocks, but it is resulting in also some of the investors doing the same, because they know that obviously there is a chance, or there is another opportunity that will come to buy those stocks towards their 52-week lows. Otherwise, before we forget the house rules, you already know that this video is just an entertainment video and not a professional financial advice video, and I really appreciate if you can just hit the likes button if you are enjoying the content that I'm giving you about, of course, me selling most of my stocks, or me selling stocks that are doing really well after their earnings, which obviously the main reason is the interest rate hikes that we might see coming in the next few coming months. Now, before wasting any more time, yesterday, as in the screen, I was reading an article that obviously supports the thing that I've been saying, and that is the Federal Reserve. They are targeting to bring, or their main target is to bring inflation down. And as long as inflation is still high, they are going to continue increasing interest rates. And some Fed officials are begging for more aggressive hikes to, of course, curb this high inflation. So this is one of the main reason, or this is the main reason why I've been selling most of the stocks that do really well or recover well in terms of the share price after earnings. This has been my main reason, or the main reason why I do that, because I believe that obviously stocks are still going to crash towards their 52-week low, and in fact we might get to see the US economy going into a recession this year, which that again, it's another very strong bearish move for stocks. So this is, or it is for this reason why whenever I get an opportunity, whenever I see the stocks that are doing well or recovering well from my portfolio, it's either I sell the stocks completely, which is what mostly I've been doing, or just trim that stock in terms of my holding, so that I target that stock probably at the lower share price that it might fall to, as most stocks plummet towards their 52-week low, mainly due to, of course, high inflation and interest rate hikes that might be coming. Now, what led into, of course, the stock market to rally, or most stocks to rally, was obviously most people or most investors thought that, of course, inflation is coming down, obviously, and we might see, of course, the Federal Reserve maybe sooner than we think starting to obviously slow down in terms of raising interest rates, which is why a lot of investors put a lot of money into the stocks. But yeah, more signs now are pointing towards the fact that we might see more aggressive rate hikes from the Federal Reserve, trying to curb this high inflation. I mean, as I've said, in the January inflation figures came out worse than what analysts expected, which that is a serious concern, not only to obviously the consumers, but to the Federal Reserve as their target. You know by now that they are targeting an inflation of around 2%. So from the 6.4% which they reported in January to that 2%, I think you and me can definitely agree that that is still a very good long stretch. They still really have to do more work in terms of rising or raising interest rates, which is something that obviously is the one thing that, like I said, whenever I saw, like yesterday, as I've said, on Fiverr up over 20%, I sell Fiverr stock completely. Today, Alibaba will be giving us their earnings, and it's still the same. My approach is still the same. If we get, or if I get a Baba coming out with good earnings and that makes its stock to surge, then I'm definitely going to consider obviously selling Baba completely and wait for more good opportunity as the markets drop in the coming few months. Now, otherwise, with all that, guys, I just thought I'd just give you this quick update as to what is it that I'm doing, what is it, or what has been the main reason or main motive why I'm continuing to sell stocks that, of course, recover after their earnings. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to hit or click that notification bell so that at least you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.